I still hear those keys jingling in my sleep. Every single night since I escaped that mall, I wake up drenched in sweat, convinced someone's standing at the foot of my bed wearing a high-visibility vest. But I'm getting ahead of myself. My name is Daniel, and what happened during my 3 nights as a security guard at Westfield Grove Shopping Center will haunt me until the day I die. 2 months ago, I was desperate. My landlord was threatening eviction, my car had been repossessed, and every job application I submitted disappeared into the void. Then I saw it, a listing on some sketchy employment website. Overnight security guard needed, abandoned retail location, $1,200 per week, no experience required, start immediately. I should have known. Nothing legitimate pays that well for watching an empty building, but desperation makes you stupid, and I was drowning. There was no interview, just an automated email with an address, a start date, and a door code. The message ended with a single line that should have sent me running. Your trainer will meet you on site. Follow his instructions exactly. I showed up that first night with a flashlight I'd bought at a gas station and a knot of anxiety in my stomach. The mall loomed against the October sky like a beached ship, its massive parking lot cracked and overgrown with weeds. Every window was dark. I punched in the code at the service entrance, and the door clicked open with a sound like breaking bones. Marcus was waiting inside. He was maybe 60, with gray stubble and eyes that had seen too much. He didn't smile when he shook my hand. His grip was cold and firm. "You're the new guy," he said. It wasn't a question. "I've got 3 nights to teach you everything. Then you're on your own. This isn't a normal job, Daniel. If you want to survive, you'll listen to every word I say, and you won't ask questions until I'm finished." The mall's interior was worse than I'd imagined. Storefronts gaped like open mouths, their security gates frozen halfway up or down. Mannequins lay scattered across the concourse, their blank faces staring at nothing. The air smelled like mold and something else, something sweet and rotten that made my throat tighten. Marcus led me through the darkness to a small office near the central fountain. Inside was a metal desk, an ancient computer, and a filing cabinet with a padlock. "This is command," Marcus said, dropping a keyring on the desk. "You'll do a full patrol every 90 minutes. Log your rounds on that computer. The system's not connected to anything, but you log them anyway." He pulled a worn notebook from the filing cabinet and placed it in front of me. The cover was stained with something that might have been coffee. "These are the rules. Read them. Memorize them. Your life depends on it." I opened the notebook. The handwriting was different on every page, as if dozens of people had contributed. But the rules were consistent. Never enter stores after midnight, even if you hear someone calling for help. Never speak to anyone in a maintenance uniform. If you see children, do not engage. Do not chase. Do not acknowledge them. If the lights in the West Wing turn on by themselves, leave immediately and do not return for 1 hour. If someone claims to be mall management, ask them to show you their left hand. If you find yourself in a white room with no windows, you have 30 seconds to leave before the door locks permanently. My hands were shaking. "What the hell is this place?" Marcus looked at me with something like pity. "This mall closed in 2003. There was an accident during renovation, structural collapse in the West Wing. 12 people died, including 3 contractors and a family with 2 kids. The company that owned it went bankrupt, but legally, someone has to maintain security to avoid liability. That's where we come in." He tapped the notebook. The dead don't always know they're dead, Daniel, and some of them are angry. That first night, Marcus walked me through every section. The food court with its overturned chairs and shattered sneeze guards. The department store with clothing still on racks, styles from 2 decades ago. The movie theater with its marquee frozen on films I barely remembered. And then we reached the West Wing. Marcus stopped at the entrance, his flashlight beam trembling slightly. This is where it happened, the collapse. You'll hear sounds from in there. Voices, music. Sometimes you'll see lights. Never go in, not for any reason. As if on cue, I heard it. A faint melody, like a music box winding down. And laughter, children's laughter, distant and hollow. Marcus grabbed my arm. Ignore it. Keep moving. We continued the patrol, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was following us just beyond the reach of our flashlights. When we returned to the office at dawn, I was exhausted. Marcus made coffee on a hot plate and studied me over the rim of his mug. You did good, but tonight will be harder. They know you now. They'll test you. He was right. The second night started normally enough. I logged in at 10 p.m., did my first patrol without incident. But around midnight, as I passed the children's play area, I saw them. 3 kids, maybe 8 or 9 years old, playing on the rusted equipment. They were wearing clothes from the early 2000s, and they moved with an odd, stuttering quality, like a video skipping frames. I remembered the rule. Do not engage. I turned to walk away, and one of them called out, "Mister, can you help us find our mom?" My heart was hammering, but I kept walking. Their voices followed me. "Please, mister, we're scared. We've been waiting so long. Why won't you help us?" I broke into a run, their pleading turning to angry shouts behind me. When I reached the office, Marcus was there, even though he shouldn't have been. "You did the right thing," he said quietly. "They'll try harder tomorrow." The third night, Marcus gave me the keys and told me I was ready. "One more thing," he said as he prepared to leave. "There's a man named Thomas, maintenance supervisor, who died in the collapse. He wears an orange vest and carries a toolbox. If you see him, get to the office and lock the door. He can't come in here, but he'll wait outside all night if he has to. Don't let him talk to you. Don't let him convince you he's real. And whatever you do, if he tells you there's an emergency and asks you to follow him, refuse." I was alone. The mall seemed darker that night, the shadows deeper. My first 2 patrols were quiet, almost peaceful. I was starting to think maybe I could handle this. Then, during my 3rd round, I saw the lights. The West Wing was glowing, every store illuminated as if the mall had suddenly reopened. I heard music, voices, the sound of a crowded shopping center in full swing. It was so convincing, so normal, that for a moment I forgot where I was. I took 3 steps toward the entrance before I remembered the rule. Leave immediately. Do not return for 1 hour. I sprinted back to the office, locked the door, and waited. The sounds continued for 45 minutes, then stopped abruptly, like someone had flipped a switch. When I ventured out again, the West Wing was dark and silent, but now I noticed something I'd missed before. Handprints on the windows, dozens of them, all different sizes, all pressed against the glass from the inside. At 3 a.m., I encountered Thomas. He appeared in the main concourse as I rounded a corner, solid and real, checking something on a clipboard. He looked up and smiled. "Hey there, you're the new security guy, right? Listen, we've got a water main break in the lower level. I need you to come shut off the emergency valve before we have a flood." He sounded so reasonable, so professional, but his orange vest was too bright, almost glowing, and when I looked at his feet, they didn't quite touch the ground. "I can't leave my post," I said, my voice barely steady. His smile didn't waver, but his eyes went flat. "It's an emergency. People could get hurt. You want that on your conscience?" I backed away slowly. "I need to check with my supervisor." Something flickered across his face, rage or frustration, too fast to identify. "Your supervisor isn't here. I'm telling you there's a problem. Are you refusing to help?" I turned and ran. His voice chased me through the corridors. "You'll regret this. When this whole place floods, it'll be your fault. They'll fire you. They'll sue you. Come back here." I slammed the office door and threw the lock. For 20 minutes, I heard him outside, pacing, occasionally testing the door handle. Then silence. I checked the computer. 4 a.m., 2 more hours until dawn. I could do this. I sat at the desk, trying to calm my breathing, when I noticed something. The filing cabinet was open. I hadn't touched it. Inside, beneath where the notebook had been, was a folder. On it, in faded marker, was written, "Incident Report, September 14th, 2003. I opened it. Inside were police reports, photographs, witness statements. The collapse hadn't been an accident. A maintenance supervisor named Thomas Wexler had been fired for safety violations and drug use. 3 days later, he returned with explosives, planning to destroy the section where he'd been humiliated in front of contractors. He'd miscalculated. The blast brought down the entire West Wing during a busy Saturday afternoon. 12 dead, including Wexler himself. The final page was a handwritten note. He still believes he was trying to help. He doesn't remember what he did, and he's angry that no one will listen to him anymore. A sound made me look up. The office door was rattling, not from someone trying the handle. It was vibrating, as if something on the other side was pushing with immense force. Then I heard it. Children's voices, all speaking in unison. "Let us in. We're cold. We want to go home. Please." The door shuddered harder. I grabbed my phone to call Marcus, but there was no signal. Of course not. I was on my own. The door began to crack around the hinges. I did the only thing I could think of. I grabbed the logbook and started writing. 4:15 a.m. Encountered hostile entities. Request immediate relief. As soon as I finished writing, the shaking stopped. The silence was absolute. I waited 5 minutes, then 10. Nothing. I carefully unlocked the door and peered out. The corridor was empty, but someone had left something outside. A child's sneaker, small and worn, with a name written inside. Emma Cartwright, one of the victims. I finished my shift in the office, door locked, every light on. When Marcus arrived at 6 a.m., he took one look at me and nodded. "You met them all then?" I told him everything. He listened without interrupting, then opened the filing cabinet and pulled out a bottle of whiskey. He poured 2 glasses. "You did good. Most people don't make it past night 2. The ones who do usually quit after night 3. But you stayed. You followed the rules. That means something." "Why do you keep coming back?" I asked. He stared into his glass. "Because someone has to. If this place goes completely unwatched, if there's no one to maintain the rules, they'll get stronger. They'll find a way out, and I don't want to know what happens then." He finished his drink. "You're trained now. The job's yours if you want it. Same pay, same hours. Or you can walk away, and I'll find someone else." I should have walked away. Every logical part of my brain screamed at me to run and never look back. But I thought about those handprints on the glass, about Emma's shoe, about Marcus, returning night after night to keep something contained. "I'll take the job." I heard myself say. Marcus almost smiled. Good, but Daniel, don't ever let your guard down. Don't ever assume you understand what's happening here. The moment you think you've figured it out, that's when they'll get you. That was 3 weeks ago. I'm still working at Westfield Grove. I've learned new rules that weren't in the notebook. I've found areas Marcus never mentioned. And twice, I've seen someone watching from the upper level. Someone in street clothes, not a uniform. Someone who looks just like Marcus, but younger. When I asked him about it, he went pale and made me describe exactly what I'd seen. Then he opened a locked drawer and showed me a photograph. Him, maybe 30 years ago, standing in this same office. If you ever see him again, Marcus said quietly, it means my time's almost up. It means the mall's decided it needs a new permanent resident. And Daniel, if that happens, you run. You run and you never come back. Last night, I saw him again. The young Marcus. He was standing outside the West Wing, and when our eyes met, he smiled and waved, like he was welcoming me home. I'm writing this because I don't know if I'll make it to the end of my shift tonight. If you're reading this, if you've been offered a job at Westfield Grove Shopping Center, I'm begging you, don't take it. Whatever they're paying, it's not worth it. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed. And I'm terrified I've already walked through mine.